Are you interested in becoming a web developer in 2023? Here are 5 ways you can do that. So the number one way to get started as a web developer in 2023 will be to take an online course. Now, online courses have been popular for the last 5 years or even more. You have a lot of platforms like Coursera, Skillshare, you have Udemy, which is what I would recommend personally. For someone who wants to take online courses, it leaves you a lot of space, a lot of time to do other things, and you can still do your courses on your own time. Now, one of the most challenging things about taking online courses is that you have to be someone who is very responsible, who know how to manage their time, because there's no teacher, there's no assignment. There are assignments, but you don't have deadlines for those assignments, so you're gonna have to be the one who manages that for you. But it's a great way to get into web development, and it's one of the cheapest ways, because online courses, like on Udemy, you get a lot of deals and you can get the course for very, very cheap. And there's so many great courses that have been there for a long time that many people have used, and those are very great value for your money. Now, the second way is going to be joining a bootcamp. Now, I myself haven't taken any bootcamp classes, but I know a few people who did, and it's very intensive. It's for those of you who can learn things fast and keep them in your head. If you think you're someone like that, that will be good for you. The thing I noticed a lot of people who've been to boot camps say is that it helps them get experience working with other developers, which you can get if you're just working on your own, especially if you don't have any friends or anybody else who's also interested in web development that you can work with, or even just somebody who's interested in coding point blank period. So if you don't have somebody like that, it's gonna be hard to find people to collaborate with, learn how to use Git when you're collaborating with other people, which is a very important skill to have. So I would say that's the biggest advantage I see with going to a bootcamp, attending a bootcamp. And the worst thing about it is that it's not cheap. It's very expensive, especially for how long it takes and the amount of time it takes from you, because it's something that you have to attend on their time. It's not like an online course. So that will be for you to see if you're just doing it and you're studying and combining it with a job, because I assume you have to pay bills yourself. For some people it's not viable, but for those who want to learn quickly and they know they can keep information in the head, it's gonna be good for them. The third way you can become a web developer in 2023 is going to a college or university and getting a degree. For a degree, that's gonna take you some time, and that time is going to be in years. For a college degree, you want in the United States like 4 years, in Canada is 3 years, so almost the same. And for a university degree, if you want to become a software engineer, it's going to be 4 more years on top of the 2 years of college. You're going to study a lot of things you won't necessarily need to become a web developer or just a programmer. I would say the disadvantages is the time. You're going to spend like 2 years, 4 years, 3 years. If you're somebody who is a little bit older, I wouldn't recommend for you to get a degree in order to become a web developer, because you don't really need it, in my opinion. But hey, if you're someone who's young, who likes studying in person, in groups, or you generally like being at school, it will be for you. Or if you're someone, I will always say someone who's younger, or someone who study better when they have somebody directing them, telling them do this, do that, it's gonna be good for you. If you're someone who needs that supervision, it's gonna be good for you, because it's gonna keep you working and making sure that you're actually getting the skills you need. The downside is the time, like I said, and you get a lot of information you don't really need. I'll give you an example. I was doing mechanical engineering. I can tell you we had some courses that were like people in chemical engineering were taking, and we had some courses that were mining engineering, and it's like you're studying rocks, but you're supposed to, and it doesn't relate in any way. If you're somebody who just like to get to the point, who just want to get into web development as an investment, something you want to be able to gain the most out of it, I wouldn't advise you to go to get a degree, because you're going to get so much more than what you really need. And if you just need web development, you don't need those other stuff. Getting a degree in software engineering is going to be way too much, and you probably never use most of what you're going to learn in that degree on your job as a web developer. The fourth way will be to learn on your own. Learning on your own is what I did. I kind of combined the two. Like, I took an online course and basically had to learn on my own for the rest of the way until today. I still have some courses on Udemy, but I found out that the more I go, the more I'm able to learn on my own. Even if I have those courses, I will go to them for information. But like, if I need something specific, like for my job or something else, I'm more likely to just find it on the internet and learn from there. And if I can't find it, that's when I'm gonna go to the course and start looking. The hardest thing is organizing your time. You have to be a very good time manager, because yes, you're gonna be pulled one way, the other way. You have to study, you're back from work, you're studying at the same time, maybe you're studying something else too on the side, and trying to combine those two, and you have to hang out with friends, you have all those things, and you have to actually manage them yourself to be like, oh, today I'm going to study, and there's nobody to tell you you have to study this, you have to do that. So that the organizational side of studying is going to be up to you. But the greatest thing about that is that being a time manager is something that's always good for people. You can even put that on your resume when you go looking for a job. You can say, I'm a very good time manager, because yeah, and you will stand on it, because you know, like, it took time and effort for you to be able to study something you didn't know from scratch, and self-direct that study and come out successful on the other end with projects and other things to prove that you're actually capable of doing that. It's not for everybody, but I think it's the most optimal. It's free, anybody can do it. You have the information on the web. The sky is the limit. You have everything on Stack Overflow, on you have example projects on GitHub. You can basically learn and get as much knowledge as somebody who been to a bootcamp or took an online course or some other form of learning to get to where you are, and you will have the same knowledge as them, but it will be free at the cost of you being a good time manager and not procrastinating. The fifth option will be finding an apprenticeship. This one is a little bit it's not for everybody, because you have to know somebody who is willing to take you as an apprentice and basically show you the ropes, whatever you need, teach you. If you can find somebody who can teach you, that I would say that's better than going to a bootcamp, because in a bootcamp you obviously a lot of people, and of course if somebody is showing you, you're gonna have to work with them and you're gonna have the same experience as you will get working on a team, which is an advantage to have. So those are 5 ways. I resume: you can take an online course, you can join a bootcamp, you can get a degree, you can learn on your own, or you can find an apprenticeship. And those are basically the 5 ways you can become a web developer in 2023. Thanks for watching, and I hope I see you next time.